I'll call to order the Ascension Parish Council meeting for Thursday, November 7th. If everyone would please stand for the prayer and the pledge led by Councilman Kluwat.
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, on this changing of the season, we ask that everybody look toward their neighbors, look toward the elderly, as the times are getting, temperatures getting colder, and people don't always have the comforts that we have. We ask that you bestow special blessings on them and look over them. Lord, we ask also, with Veterans Day coming up, that everyone think about the troops, think about the lives that have sustained the freedom that we enjoy here in the United States. Think about all our soldiers overseas, our regular Army and our National Guard units, the people away from their families, both men and women. We ask that you keep them in your prayers. Lord, tonight we have a special blessing that we'd like for you to look upon. The family of Philip Catalano, the father of Tina Johnson, Councilman Benny Johnson's father-in-law, passed away this week. We ask that you look at that family and take care of them. We also ask that you look over Miss Nell Cazzo, the father of Coy Cazzo, and Miss Terry Cazzo's mother-in-law. We ask all these blessings in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Randy. Madam Secretary, all members present with the exception of Councilman Johnson. I have no chair's additions. Public comment sign-in period. If you wish to speak, please fill out a card and you have 3 minutes. And we'll roll right into the Parish President's report. Mr. President.
I have Mr. Don Banks here, and he wants to talk about an upcoming event at Lamar Dixon. It's I always want to say Brahma Bull because that's the way I was brought up, but it's Louisiana Brahmin Association, so I guess that's the name of the association for Brahma Bulls. So Don, you want to come up? Don's had a rough time of it physically, but he might not tell you this, but he told me this, that he's the longest survivor of the type cancer that he has, that has gone to MD Anderson. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So we're proud of you, and we want to keep you around here.
outlive the doctor. I want to thank y'all for letting me come. I've been a long-time resident of Ascension Parish all my life. A couple of years after I got back out of the service, I went on a little learning tour with a great friend of mine, Clyde Goodo, and we left in 1st of September. We came back in February, showing cattle, 6 of us with 68 head. And you got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, went to bed 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and you slept whenever you could. But we stayed on the road and never came home until the end of Houston. In that process, I got to love the old crazy Brahmin cattle, and we wanted to change what they were. I've been all over the country, and I got cattle in 6 foreign countries. But in 2001, we had Lamar Dixon built, and we wanted to put on a show. Myself, Carolyn Falgout, who's ex-Louisiana president of the association. We was honored to have the point show. We've never asked the parish or anybody for any help. We've put this thing on now, and the lowest we were in rankings of attendance. Our first show, we had 370 people, or animals, that attended the show. And
7 different states. Now we're down the line a pretty good little ways, and we're hosting the second time the national show. Last week we had 790 entries, and on my way here, a gentleman from Florida called me, and he wants to enter 20 head, so that'll put us over 800 head of animals at Lamar Dixon. In front of y'all is a little flyer that I put together of the events, and I would like each and every one of y'all to attend the show. We're gonna pick your time, pick what you want to eat. One thing about Ascension Parish, and the reason they love to come is because they all gain weight when they leave, because we feed them very well. I don't know if any of y'all know the Randy LeBlanc of the Payless. He's putting in outfit where you can now hang your beef for 28 days. And it will be in the store, and you can cut your meat. Well, today I made a deal with him, and I'm going to put 2 animals in there as soon as they're ready. Most of all our beef goes to Kansas, to the feedlot, and when they're hanging with no pants on, you don't know what they can't say it's a Brahman, but they're grading choice, and that's better than most of the Angus cattle or the black-hided cattle. But anyway, this is going to be an event. We're gonna have right now I have 6 foreign countries represented that will be here, and you can take the junior show end of it. For every 1 animal, it takes 3 people, 1 kid to show it, mama and daddy. So that means nothing but dollars for this parish. And you can, I've talked to Tommy about taking a barn and just retrofitting it just for cattle. You can put 300 head in it, and in 2 years, well, 3 years, it'll save you in labor of cleaning it up, setting it up, and tearing it down, and putting the fronts back on, and you can bring more summer shows. And I'm willing to give my time and my knowledge free. All y'all have to do is call on me, and I'll be glad to help and do anything I can. And I'll really appreciate it if y'all come. And when y'all do come, just, I got my phone number on there. You can call me, and I'll have you introduced to everybody that's there. And since they give me only 3 minutes, I can't. I got another minute. But any questions?
Councilman Clue.
Yeah, Don, it's been over 25 years we've been livestock shows together and things like that, and certainly all my children enjoyed your presence there, and everybody's learned a lot with your knowledge, not only on the beef side, but the feeding side and everything that has to do with livestock. And we appreciate the guys like you that hung in and have went ahead and expanded your breed very well and the knowledge in our area. And once again, we appreciate you still being around, buddy.
Well, we thank y'all.
And
like I
this
said,
is another wonderful event at Lamar Dixon. This is a national event to showcase a jewel, Lamar Dixon.
There will be cattle from all over the United, from Oregon, California, Florida, Georgia. They don't do too good up in the snow.
Right.
But there will be cattle in foreign countries. Naturally, all of our, we have 2 of we have the largest custom fitter here in Louisiana now, and the largest breeder here in Louisiana. Carolyn Falgout is the largest Brahman breeder in AME. And she, in fact, she's in Panama right now. We'll be back for the show. So she's got her work cut out.
Once again, thank you.
Any other?
Thank you.
Thank you, and I appreciate y'all very much for having me here. Thank you.
Then I have a young lady here from the Downtown Development District, the Donaldsonville Downtown Development District. Even though she's from Santa Monica, we're going to allow her to come up and tell us about an evening stroll here in the
That's a
fine
plus
city of
that she's from Santa
Donaldsonville.
Monica.
Thank you.
And Galvez.
That's right.
Hi, how y'all doing? Thank y'all so much for having me. Thank you. Just very briefly, my name is Missy Jandura, and I'm the Executive Director for the Donaldsonville Downtown Development District and also Main Street Donaldsonville. For those of you that don't know, that are maybe here that don't realize, Donaldsonville not only is amazing part of Ascension Parish, but we are the only historic district in Ascension Parish. We are the only Main Street USA town. We're one of only 34 Main Street Louisiana districts, enterprise zone of course, and we are a downtown development district. So we're extremely proud of that and encourage everyone to come out and enjoy, especially all the treasures that Donaldsonville has. And as someone who does live in Galvez, I cross that bridge twice a day. They've never asked me for a passport, so we highly encourage everyone to come over and see what we're all about. We have a wonderful event that we do that's in conjunction with the Department of Tourism. Jay Darden, this is one of his pet causes, is the Main to Main event. It's actually a statewide event that goes on throughout November. It encourages people throughout the state and actually throughout the nation to go and visit their small towns. Generally, the Main to Main program, the Main Street USA programs, are under 20,000 people, and it took a while for us to get this delineation, so we're extremely proud of it. This is not only to come visit Donaldsonville, but to another Main Street town is Plaquemine. That's a good one to go check out their November event, and Thibodaux does a great November event. Now, our specific event, of course, is the best. The poster was done by Alvin Batiste, who is our folk artist here, and he's really, getting really renowned. We have great sponsors. If y'all have never been to this, it's a walk through time. This is going to sound a little strange, but a lot of the neighbors and businesses will dress up in costume from their favorite decade. I know it sounds kind of strange, but there'll be people in hoop skirts dressed next to, people from the 40s and the 80s, whether they know they're still in the 80s. We do have horse and buggy rides. We have gospel choirs. We have Michael Foster, who is doing a neat program this year in conjunction with bringing brass back. We're trying to bring the jazz back to Donaldsonville. He's going to be working with the Donaldsonville High School students and jamming with them from 6 until 8 over at the American River Road African American Museum. Thank you. It goes on. Right there at Jazz Plaza. You'll be happy to know that this year the Ascension Parish Tourism Department will be here, and they'll be right in front of the courthouse, and they're going to have their events and also a special band. Van Broussard, of course, is going to come with Swamp Pop, and we have over 20 musicians, reenactors, so we highly encourage everyone and their families to come out and enjoy it. The festivities start at 5, merchants are open late, and really it'll probably end around 10. So do y'all have any questions about that? It's November 23rd. So starting at 5, the carriage rides are a big deal. So if you have kids, you might want to come, kind of around 5 because they get kind of antsy waiting in the line for the carriages.
And Mr. Millen and Bonnie and Clyde deal, and this thing coming
Yep.
in December.
December 8th. The way that started with Sony Pictures was they started out with 2 sites. We got them up to 23 sites with rentals at the Frank Sotil Pavilion. We got them in the Lemon Center, using our hotels, our bed and breakfast, our restaurants. It was really wonderful. It'll be on November 8th, and you'll see the courthouse, and also special thanks to the parish for helping us clean out. Sony did a great donation of cleaning out the court, the jail behind us. Amazing job. They spent over, I think, $10,000, and that'll be a big part of the Bonnie and Clyde program too. So it'll be on for 2 nights on Lifetime A&E and History Channel, and you'll see the parish in the best.
Great.
Any other questions?
Yeah,
Councilman Thorpe?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all the owners on Main Street and the folks in Donaldsonville for trying to maintain the storefronts and the actual historic value of the structures. I'm sure that, throughout the years, there's a lot of temptation to tear something down and build something new.
Thanks.
It's
Yeah.
just great.
And then what our Main Street program is instrumental in the tax abatements and tax incentives for historic buildings. And we're very proud that our volunteers and myself, we just don't like ugly. And since I've been here, we have painted some inside and outside, 17 buildings that we've just, sometimes with permission, sometimes without. But we just can't stand it. So it just gets better every year, and we have some new things in the hopper. So thank y'all for frequenting out here. We hope to see you on November 23rd. There's extensive information on our Facebook page, which is Main Street Donaldsonville, and also the Donaldsonville DDD Facebook page. I'm also a board member with the Ascension Veterans Associations, and we'd like to especially thank all of our veterans and also just kind of briefly update you on some veterans events going on in Ascension Parish. Here in Donaldsonville, they're actually going to have an event that'll be at the Catholic Church, and they have all the patriotic music beautiful. It starts around 9:40. The Donaldsonville Library will have events going on all day on Veterans Day on Monday from 9 until 5, so please stop by for that. Of course, the large event that'll be happening over on Irma Boulevard at the Veterans Park does start on the 11th month, the 11th day at 11 a.m., so please join us out there. And the Ascension Parish Veterans Associations, we're kind of a consortium of all the different veterans groups and associates, so we're always looking for volunteers, whether you're a veteran or not. And a little update, I'm sure you have heard, there will be no Veterans Day parade on Veterans Day this year. We would like to thank very much for Tommy, especially Sherry Kinchin, who's been years wonderful volunteer for all the veterans, and Brent Gotro. But instead of having it on Monday, we will be having it in conjunction when the 922nd National Guard comes back. And we're thinking that'll be at the end of December or January. So we'll just have one big, huge one.
I got one in that group, and I'm hoping the middle of December.
I know,
Before
but,
Christmas, they can get enough of their paperwork.
God's grace and Santa Claus is, hopefully hearing us, so. And one very last thing is we do have the musical tribute to the troops that we did last year. It was a huge success, and I believe that is January 11th. We might have some scheduling, but it's a USO show. We did it at the Gonzales Civic Center, and all the proceeds do go to the troops. So thank you, and happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service to the veterans.
Thank you.
That's all I have, and I certainly want to encourage all of you to please go out to the services somewhere here in Ascension Parish, or even outside the parish, if you can go and thank our veterans. If you meet one on the street, thank them for what they've done.
Councilman Chexler, you had something?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to echo, Missy is, once you get involved with some of the activities that she gets involved in, just get out the way, because she's gonna be pushing and working and a big catalyst over here and a very good asset. So we appreciate, Missy, everything you do. So just want to let everyone know.
Anything else, Mr. President? Okay. Item number 6 is the consent agenda. The chair would entertain a motion. to move on
Motion.
that. I have a
Second.
motion by Councilman Kluwat and a second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Any objections? Consent agenda is adopted. Item number 7 is fiscal year 2013 State Homeland Security Grant, SHSP, grant award number EMW-23-SS-00122-S01. Ms. Collins?
Thank you. I enjoyed that reading of those numbers. This is a grant that comes through us through the Office of Homeland Security. This year we were awarded $52,814. This grant is part of a requirement that 25% of this goes to law enforcement, and I did a breakdown for you. And what we're here tonight to request from the council is that you approve for us to accept the FY 2013 State Homeland Security Program grant in the amount of $52,814, of which 25% will be allocated for the purpose of law enforcement terrorism prevention activities, and to authorize Parish President Tommy Martinez to sign and execute all documents pertaining to this grant, and Ms. Gwen LeBlanc for all financials.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Councilman Lawson.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Discussion. Any objections? The motion passes.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Item Item number 8, zoning review ID 2362.13, Lot 94 for Bonlou subdivision for Joe Cascio, located on the north side of Bordeaux Street, approximately 1,500 feet east of Marseille Boulevard, to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from medium intents to lead residential RM to mixed use 2 MU2. And gentlemen, this is for review only. Item number 9, introduction of ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code, LDC, Section 17-2087, signs, off-premise sign standards. Chair, motion introduced by Councilman Todd Lambert and seconded by Councilman Kluwat. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 10 is an introduction of an ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code, LDC, Table A, permitted uses by district, to remove the uses of travel trailer parks for tourists. Motion introduced by Councilman Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 11 is an introduction of an ordinance to revoke 8.25 of an existing 25-foot drainage servitude located on the rear portion of Lot 349 at Pelican Point Golf Community, 5th filing, and dedicate an 8.25-foot drainage servitude on the opposite side of the remaining portion of the original drainage servitude.
Motion.
Motion introduced by Councilman Kluwat. Second by Councilman Todd Lambert. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 12 is an introduction of an ordinance to revoke the existing 15-foot drainage servitude running across the rear of lots 1-A and 1-B of the James J. Wolf property, 17035 Swamp Road East. Moved to council via UDC 17-4050B.2.A.
Motion introduced.
Motion introduced by Councilman Satterlee.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 13 is an introduction of an ordinance to amend Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 8, Emergency Management. Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Cazzo. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Item 14 is an introduction of an ordinance amending the ordinance approving and authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement by and between ACUD Number 1 and Ascension Parish, financing of water system improvements for the district, and authorizing the loan of $550,000.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Joseph. Second by Councilman Satterlee. I'm sorry, Councilman Schick-Snyder. Any objections? Ordinance is introduced. Move on to our public hearing section. Item 15 is the reading of an ordinance to amend the 2013 budget and appropriate the 2014 budget. Mr. Parrington.
Yes, before I read it, I'd like to make a motion that I read it as amended. You received two amendments. One was for $30,000 for the change order for the fire station, and the other one was a $2 million amendment for the that came from the state on the Louisiana Highway 42 sewer and road widening project as a result of the bid coming in, and we're being responsible for paying that amount.
Motion to have him read the amended budget.
Yeah, motion by Councilman Schick-Snyder, a second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert to read as amendment. Any discussion, objections to that, gentlemen? Hearing none, that motion passes. Please go ahead, Mr. Parrington.
Whereas a revision of certain budgets for the 2013 budget year for certain funds has been prepared and submitted to the council as follows. The first number will be the operating surplus at deficit, and the second number will be the fund balance after amendments. General surplus $808,200, fund balance $6,308,767. Road bridge surplus $304,600, fund balance $503,1016. East Ascension major drainage surplus $333,160, fund balance $305,70900. West Ascension drainage deficit $68,700, fund balance $156,607. Sales and use tax surplus $1,747,000, fund balance $11,077,170. Criminal court deficit $11,000, fund balance $154,702. Health unit deficit $143,500, fund balance $251,843. Mental health surplus $210,000, fund balance 3700784. Fire District 2, surplus 133500, fund balance 1091502. Recreation, deficit 698500, fund balance 2800026. Lighting District number 1, surplus 2100, fund balance 326202. Lighting District number 2, surplus 4900, fund balance 98884. Lighting District number 3, surplus 6500, fund balance 150292. Lighting District number 4, surplus 13700, fund balance 79718. Lighting District number 5, surplus 10800, fund balance 103976. Lighting District number 6, surplus 105700, fund balance 2,310,367. Lighting District number 7, surplus 3000, fund balance 44488. LCDBG Lemonville Sewer Project, operating for the surplus 0, fund balance 89893. Lamar Dixon Expo Center, deficit 269500, fund balance 1,070,197. Jail construction, deficit 95,000, fund balance 1332007. SMU tax sinking, surplus 28.5, fund balance 547,155. East Ascension major sinking, surplus 2,500, fund balance 683,471. East Ascension construction fund, deficit 2,002,500, fund balance 1,738,7,103. Road project construction fund, deficit 7,058,500, fund balance 10,264,781. Ascension jail fund, deficit 566,500, fund balance 155,438. Law officers court fund, deficit 600,000, fund balance 59522. Office building construction fund, deficit 560,000, fund balance 5,127,037. Ascension Parish Ascension Insurance Fund, surplus 164,500, fund balance 3,439,737. HUD Section 8, 0, fund balance 0. Fire District number 1, deficit 54500, fund balance 4,261,491. Council on Aging, surplus 5800, fund balance 1,439,131. Sales and Use Tax District number 2, fund, deficit 1900, fund balance 107,570. Sales and Use Tax District number 2, sinking fund, surplus 500, fund balance 404,640. 23rd Judicial District Fins Fund, deficit 8,000, fund balance 14775. Fire District number 1 construction, deficit 30,000, fund balance 191,475. Bayou Terrace Bond Fund, 0, fund balance 24337. Wastewater Fund, 0, fund balance 0. Ascension Parish Fund, 40,500, fund balance 842,884. Dental Insurance Fund, deficit 6,000, fund balance 781,211. FEMA repetitive loss acquisition elevations, surplus 29900, fund balance 865,078. Homeland Security Grant, surplus 16,000, fund balance 234,243. Fire District number 3, surplus 498,500, fund balance 6,789,114. Fire District number 1, reserves 0, fund balance 115,960. Fire District number 1, sinking 2,000, fund balance 151,585. Fire District number 3, construction 500, fund balance 256,879. ACUD number 2, deficit 1322000, fund balance 4,411,492. Community block grant, development block grant, surplus 286,000, fund balance 317,930. Hazard mitigation grant fund 0, fund balance 0. Fleet management fund surplus 32,200, fund balance 656,470. Oak Grove construction fund deficit 74,000, fund balance 3908. CDBG construction fund deficit 7,000, fund balance 54681. Park construction 0, fund balance 17937. ACUD number 1, operating surplus 359,400, fund fund balance 38388. ACUD number 1, sinking fund 72500, fund balance 91,151. ACUD number 1, reserve fund 388,000, fund balance 392,734. Lighting district construction fund 00. Whereas a proposed operating budget for the year 2014 includes revenue of 806,40500 and expenditures of 73,123,500. The capital budget fund includes revenues of 10,603,500 plus required fund balance of 20,160,000 for a total equal to 30,763,500 and expenditures of 38,038,000. Therefore, total operating and capital budget revenues plus required fund balance equals 111,161,500 and expenditures equal 111,161,500. Interfund transfers or 42,433,900. Whereas the Ascension Parish Council has reviewed and considered such proposed budget and made revisions of the same, whereas the proposed budget was duly set after proper notice to the public hearing which was held on November 7, 2013 is required by the revised statutes of the state of Louisiana and the Ascension Parish Home Rule Charter. Therefore be it ordained that the Ascension Parish Council of the state of Louisiana, Section 1-2013 amended budget. The amended budget is prepared for 2013 or approved and appropriated by the Ascension Parish Council with the stipulation that transfer from the sales and use tax District number 1 to general fund and road and bridge fund and the amount necessary to maintain a balanced fund but will not exceed the amount authorized in the budget. The recreation fund is allocated 10% of the net of 1% sales tax, sales and use tax District number 1 revenues as an additional source of funding. Funding is also provided for the allocations to sales and use tax number 1 bond sinking fund and FINS, families in need of services. To the extent that the resulting revenues of the sales and use tax District number 1 exceed expenditures and transfers, and after inadequate fund balance is maintained, then such excess will be transferred 25% to recreation fund, 25% to ACU number 2 fund, and 50% to the road construction fund. The 1/3 net of sales and use tax District 2 revenues collected for fire protection shall be shared by the Ascension Fire Protection District number 1 at 65%, by the Ascension Parish Fire Protection District number 2 at 13%, and by the Ascension Parish Fire Protection District number 3 at 22%. All unexpended appropriations will lapse December 31st, 2013. Section 214 budget. That the budget proposed for the year 2014 is approved and adopted and appropriated with the following provisions. Expenditures not contemplated in the operation of the government of Ascension Parish as set forth in this budget are to be approved in accordance with the provisions of Article 7, Section 701 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish. Transfer from the sales and use tax District number 1 to the general fund and the road and bridge fund in the amount necessary to maintain a balanced fund but will not exceed the amount authorized in the budget. The Recreation Fund is allocated 10% of the net 1% Sales and Use Tax District Number 1 revenues as an additional source of funding. Funding is also provided for the allocation to Sales and Use Tax District Number 1 sinking fund and funds families in need of services to the extent that the resulting revenues of the Sales and Use Tax District Number 1 exceed expenditures and transfers, and after such adequate fund balance is maintained, then such excess will be transferred 25% to the ACUD Number 2 fund and 75% to the general fund. The 1/3 net sales of Tails Tax District 2 revenues collected for the fire protection shared by the Ascension Parish Fire Protection District Number 1 at 65%, by Ascension Parish Fire District Number 2 at 13%, by Ascension Parish Fire District Number 3 at 22%. Funding to provide for the 2013 encumbrances is hereby approved and appropriated. All unexpended appropriations will lapse December 31st, 2013. This ordinance has been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon is as follows.
Motion open
Motion
public
open
hearing by
public hearing.
Councilman Kluwat. Second by Councilman Todd Lambert.
Motion closed.
Motion to close by Councilman Longsaw, second by Councilman Kluwat.
Move the ordinance.
Have a motion to move the ordinance by Councilman Lambert, Todd Lambert, and a second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? That motion passes and the ordinance is adopted. We'll move on to item number 18, which is the reading of an ordinance to amend the Ascension Parish zoning map from light industrial LI to heavy industrial HI, tract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and Evan Hall Sugar Cooperative, Inc., located on the west side of Louisiana Highway 1 north, approximately 300 feet north of LA Highway 405. Mr. Barrington.
Purpose, this ordinance amends the official zoning designation, tract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in Evan Hall Sugar Cooperative, Inc., and rezone as identified as zoning ID 2349.13, tract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, in Evan Hall Sugar Cooperative, Inc. property, whereas the Ascension Parish of local government subdivision is defined by Article 6, Section 44, Louisiana Constitution, 1974. Whereas the Parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body over the zoning and regulations within the jurisdiction. Whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4th, 1993 identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of this parish. Whereas the official zoning map of Ascension Parish was last adopted October 15, 2012. Whereas the Parish Council reserves the authority to make changes to the official zoning map by ordinance. Whereas this request has been processed in compliance with the procedures set forth, be it ordained that the Ascension Parish governing authority that the official zoning map of Ascension Parish, Louisiana, is amended to reflect and identified as Exhibit A, heavy industry HI, as the official zoning designation. In the event any portion of this ordinance is ever held to be invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over such valid portion shall be deemed separate and distinct, independent provision, and shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance. The effective date of the ordinance shall be effective as permitted by law. The exhibits are the legal description, the plat map, and the aerial zoning map. This ordinance had been submitted to a vote. The vote thereon was as follows.
Any motion to open the public hearing?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Joseph.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kluwat.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Councilman Joseph.
Second.
Second by Councilman Satterley.
Motion to pass.
Motion to move the ordinance by Councilman Joseph.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kluwat. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. Item number 21, reading of an ordinance SR 13-10, revisions to subdivision regulations of the Unified Land Development Code pertaining to testing requirements. Mr. Barrington.
The purpose of this ordinance is to update the process and timing of quality assurance and control testing reports for construction projects, whereas the Ascension Parish local government subdivision is defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution, 1974. Whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4, 1993 identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating lands of this parish. Whereas the Ascension Parish Regional Planning Commission has adopted subdivision regulations as part of the official plan of the parish in accordance with Louisiana revised statutes on January 21st, 1971. And whereas the Ascension Parish Council adopted the regulation of Appendix 4 of the Unified Land Development Code on December 17, 2009. And whereas it is necessary to make the change to update the existing process, policy, and purpose of testing as it relates to the construction and inspection process. Be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority that Section 17-409, paragraph E of the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code is amended as the as the attached exhibits. The additions are underlined, deletions are strike through. In the event any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed separate, distinct, and independent, and such provision shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance. The effective date of the ordinance shall be as permitted by law. The exhibit is section 1717409E with revisions. The ordinance has been submitted to the vote. The vote thereon was as follows.
Open the public hearing.
A motion to open the public hearing by Councilman Satterley.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kluwat.
Motion to close.
We have a motion to close by Councilman Satterley. Second by Councilman Mazza.
Motion to move on.
Motion to move the ordinance by Councilman Kluwat.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. Councilman Lambert. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kluwat. We are adjourned.